Okay, it's time for the guitar episode. Let's get to it.
Hey guys, welcome back, and if you're new, thanks for dropping by. Now, I hear the YouTube algorithm is a big fan of constantly changing the content on your channel. Okay, I'm just kidding, of course, but this whole YouTube channel is just a glimpse into the way that my mind operates, and at the end of the day, this channel is about building or modifying things on a budget, so this pretty much just fits right in. And thanks for coming along for the ride. Anyway, over the last year or so, I have been pretty consumed by guitars. And I wanted to start doing some guitar videos, some guitar builds. I have some other stuff up my sleeve that I want to get started on. So I figured this would be a great place to start, is just talking about the guitars that I currently have and where they came from, a little bit of backstory. Now, obviously, I like metal guitars, or metal looking guitars, and I really just like down-tuned chuggy caveman stuff because it's fun to play, it's easy to do, and I will hopefully pick up other skills as I go. I guess that's a precursor to my guitars, and all these guitars are pretty cheap. I don't much care for the traditional Strats or Les Paul shapes. To each their own, whatever. This is my preference. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so any guitar sounds that you hear are going to be coming through my guitar adapter. So I have the guitar going into this, going into my Spark 2 amp with a preset tone, and then that is going into my interface, which is going right into my OBS on my computer. Speaking of which, I should turn the amp on. Let's just start with this one. This is my first, this is really the first guitar that I bought. This was my Jackson Rhoads JS32. This was pretty much the only real metal shape I could find at an affordable level that was like a good entry guitar. But any of the JS32 line, they're really good guitars. 2 pickups, single volume, single tone, 3-position switch, pretty basic stuff. Now, pretty much everything that I play, I just play in the bridge position with the volume and the tone all the way up. And these do have like a super nice, super thin neck. And really, that's probably the nicest thing about this guitar is the neck. I did change a couple things, and that is that I moved the strap from this position here to this position here, and just that little change made all the difference with the neck dive. It has no neck dive now, and this thing plays great. It's really light. This is a poplar guitar with a maple neck. Forget what the fret material is, or fretboard is. But I can look that up in post, and I'll put it right here. Also in the Rhoads, I have and this is a common theme you're going to see a lot, whether it be eBay, Amazon, AliExpress, Temu, don't want to get into the politics of it, but this is a Chinese hot rail pickup. It works really, really well. Obviously, it works pretty good that I took the brand new Jackson pickup out and put this Chinese, maybe even eBay or Amazon pickup in it. And this is a 16K pickup. I think the neck is 7 or 8, but it just sounds so much more rawr, for lack of a better description, with this pickup in it. I really like these pickups. I have a few different versions that are all kind of the same thing. If you are buying pickups and parts like tuners, things like that, off of any of the ones that sell the Chinese stuff, just be a little careful about which ones you're picking out. Make sure you read the specs carefully, and make sure you get like the wax potted ones, blah, 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 blah. Okay, the next guitar that we're going to talk about is this LTD MH100QM. This guitar I traded for. The first guitar that I had was a 7-string, and I realized that I probably wanted to learn on a 6 before a 7. In hindsight, I probably would have kept the 7. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I traded that for this. This is actually a really nice guitar. It does have a Floyd Rhoads special in it, which I know get crapped on, but it's fine. It's a Floyd Rhoads special. It's all the ESP pickups are still in it. Again, single volume, single tone, 3-position. 3 position. locking nut, all the usual stuff. I've had zero issues with this guitar, but I don't generally tinker with this one or play it very much. Probably because I don't love the Floyd Rose as much as I thought I would, at least yet, maybe. The Super Strat shape just doesn't really speak to me. But it is a really nice guitar, and I have no issues with it. I don't know if you can see hopefully you can see the finish on it. I probably should have polished this, or like cleaned these off a little better before this video. But yeah, this is a good guitar. I don't know, I keep saying that maybe I'm gonna sell this thing, and I don't know, I have a hoarding problem. I'm always a quantity over quality guy. Okay, the next guitar that I want to talk about is my Arbor. This thing is super sick. I actually really like this guitar. Um, this one was a Facebook Marketplace buy that I got for 60 bucks. It was in terrible shape. It was not worth 60 bucks. I had to do a ton of work on this thing, but I bought it with the intent on learning how to work on a guitar, not knowing if it was going to be salvageable or not. But I did not realize when I got it, this is a set neck. I thought I would replace the neck if I needed to, but I was not about to do that. I did have to re-glue the whole fretboard on. I put new tuners on. I think these were Amazon. I left the pickups because they sounded fine. These are, I don't know what they actually are, but they're pretty much Seymour Duncan and Bader knockoffs. The whole guitar is obviously a knockoff of a Concord. Randy Rhoads' first shape, and this guitar I think is about exactly the same age as me. Yeah, so this is like some early '80s stuff here. Two tone, two volume. I just keep all of them all the way up, even though it's usually just played in the bridge position. What else can I tell you about this thing? This is a 24/75 scale length. It sounds good. I didn't realize the corner of this thing was broke off when I bought it. So that was the first thing that I wanted to fix because it really bothered me. And my plan was to use resin and then just paint it to match the body. But then I ended up using this green resin that I really liked. So I just left it. And I actually kind of dig it. It has a slight relic look to it, but not anything that I've added, just where I had to sand stuff out that was pretty chunky, stuff like that. I did have to go through and rewire a bunch of it, resolder a bunch of the connections, get the knobs all moving again because some of them were seized up. This has a Rock and Lock bridge, which is essentially a Kaler ripoff. And it was missing parts. I don't have the bar. I don't have the fine tuners. I didn't have all of the pieces for the locking nut. That being said, I just blocked under this and locked it in place. So it's a fixed bridge now. And it has a brass nut up top. I would like to get all the pieces to make this thing work again because I think it would be cool to have a Kaler style bridge for cheap. Anyway, so yeah, I'm probably into this guitar. And I guess I didn't mention the Rhoads. I think these pretty much all have beefy slinky or burly slinky strings on them. So like 1056 or 1052, 1152. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, that's this guitar. Okay, on to the next. This is my Warlock. This is hands down my favorite guitar. Warlock is my favorite shape. That's why I decided I wanted to make this guitar. This thing is 100% made by me. It is a 3D printed PLA body that I designed and printed with a resin top. And this is a pre-made maple neck with a rosewood fretboard. It's like a Jackson style neck. I did have to do a little bit of work on this. I painted the head black, and then I sanded the back of it and just kind of smoothed it out a little bit. Bang for the buck, you can't beat these things. It does have, what's the brand here? Saphue, Saphue, locking tuners. I'm actually really happy with these things. They have not let me down. It is in drop C. It has a 16K Chinese hot rail pickup in the bridge and a 9K or 8K passive neck pickup. I always play it in the bridge position anyway. It does have a kill switch, which I don't usually use, but I thought I wanted that when I put it together. Single volume, single tone. Yeah. Oh, this is I believe the brand is Musically. It's another Amazon thing, but I really like this bridge, and it is string through. You can see the ferrules on the back side here, and they are on either side of a steel rod that I have running up the center of this thing. But yeah, I would like to do a whole lot more information and a whole nother build on this, or build video on this guitar. But yeah, this is my favorite one, and I still think Warlocks are the coolest shape. If I could get my hands on a real Warlock, that would be great. Preferably one of the better ones. I know there's a lot of crappy Warlocks out there, and that's why they get a lot of hate. But I do think the Warlock with the Jackson head shape is pretty cool. Yeah, but this is the guitar that is always my go-to if I'm just going to grab one and jam around. This is the one that I pretty much always go to. And again, this is my favorite guitar. Yeah. Okay, after I built my Warlock, the next guitar that I really wanted to have was an Explorer. So I built this one. This one is made out of wood. It's actually salvaged wood from my family's meat shop. It is plywood and some other random things that were part of a shelf where my mom used to have her spices. My wife now has her spices. But anyway, that's where the wood from this guitar came from. I know it's not tone wood, but I'm not even going to get started on the whole tone wood thing. It is a resin top. It has like an LP style bridge with a tune-o-matic. This one is a single pickup, single volume knob, which after building the Warlock, I decided that's all I really wanted anyway. I don't love this pickup. I'll probably swap it out with another one of those Chinese hot rail pickups. I have a couple other ones that I want to try out. So I probably will swap that, and then just regular tuners, non-locking, because the locking ones just seemed, I don't know, I didn't need them. Yeah, and then it has a black nut. But this was my first like attempt into woodworking all the way through. And again, I bought the neck and just finished it. This was like the Gibson hockey stick, is that right? Like the Gibson style neck that's on Explorers, and I chopped the end of it off because this was going to be my Warlock headstock, and then I didn't like the reverse headstock, so I just saved this aside and decided to use it when I built this Explorer. It does have a 3D printed electronics cover, and there too. This thing is tuned in drop A right now, and it has some, I think they're like 12 to 68s on it. Chunky boys. And maybe that's why I don't play this thing that often, because I'm not used to that. Tuning is still a little bit foreign to me, but I would like to get back to that. As far as the shape of this guitar, this is pretty much a one-to-one from a Gibson blueprint that I found online, and then I designed this little cutout right here because this is a 24 fret neck. You don't usually see Explorers with a bolt-on neck. Anyway, this was my design. I 3D printed a bunch of templates, and then bunch of router templates out of PLA, and then I used those to route this thing out. And it is hollowed, so it has a bunch of pockets inside of it. I forget where exactly, but all these big spaces are pretty empty because I was trying to save weight, because this is a lot of guitar and a lot of wood. If you've ever held an Explorer, you know that they can be a bit chunky, and I don't like the chunky guitars. So yeah, anyway, that's my Explorer. On to the next. Okay, this is my next one. I know I said that I'm not a big fan of Strat shapes. Well, I lied, kind of, because I actually really like this guitar. This one is like an early to mid 90s Epiphone Strat. Uh, I don't generally gravitate towards these body shapes. I was at a point where I was like trying to scoop up any junk guitar I could find for cheap, and I was actually at a rock show. Not like a rock show, like geology, like a rock show randomly. This guy was selling a bunch of junk, and he had a guitar at his booth. It was this guitar, and I paid him $40 for it because it was pretty haggard. And I actually really like this guitar. It did have a broken, like this corner of the headstock was broke off. I did fix that. You can see it's still pretty scratched up. I smoothed it out a little bit, but it needs more finishing if I really wanted to smooth it out. It did have the 3 single coil pickups with a pick guard when I got it. I swapped it out for a Strat pick guard so that I could put this hot rail, I know, shocker, this hot rail in the bridge, because I didn't really like the single coil bridge pickup. This one's only like a 9,000 or 9K, 9,000 ohms, whatever you want to call it. This is actually the neck pickup that came with the set that is in the bridge for the Warlock. I had it laying around, and it was the only one I had at the time, so I threw it in here with the thought that if I didn't like it, I would change it. And I actually dig the sound of this guitar. It's not as mean as my other guitars, but it still does sound pretty cool. This is a 2-point trem. It's not full floating, it's just floating, and I actually really like this trem. I might like this trem better than the Floyd Rose. I mean, don't tell anyone though. But this is a super sick guitar, and I've been pretty happy with it. I had to modify this pick guard to fit the Epiphone Strat body as opposed to the Fender Strat body. And instead of re-drilling a bunch of holes in the guitar where the holes in the pick guard were, I drilled holes in the pick guard to match the Epiphone body. So that's why there's all these extra holes, because these holes are actually where a Strat's screws go in. But yeah, 5 position, 2 tones, 1 volume. But again, I just always have these all the way up, and then I keep it in the bridge position, and it does sound pretty good. I'm not going to play with this one right now, but I do have some streams where I'm messing around with this guitar, and they're not the best quality, but yeah, if you want to check them out, go there. And if you want to see more info on any of these guitars, just leave a comment or something, and maybe I will do a more involved, detailed breakdown of each of these guitars. But yeah, that's my Epiphone Strat. That's it for my normal guitars. I do have a couple bonus guitars that I'm going to get into, just because technically they are mine, and I figured I'd show them. So, okay, I have one of these. Yep, this is the Glary Ibanez ripoff. All the specs, I don't know. It doesn't matter that much. It's all the cheapest of the cheap materials. I pretty much got this guitar for free, actually. That neck that I showed you that's on the Explorer that has a reverse headstock, I wasn't supposed to get that. It was the wrong one. So I went to return it, and they gave me a credit for it. And then with that credit, I bought this, which was like $40 with this terrible amp. Yeah. However, this guitar is okay. It's not the worst, but, and this is a big but, you have to do a ton of work to make this thing playable. And unless you have spent a bunch of time like learning how to set up a guitar, which most people who buy a guitar like this are not gonna know how to really set up a guitar. It's really just kind of if you want a pile of cheap parts. I will say the neck is actually halfway decent for a $40 guitar. The nut is atrocious. These strings, the action on this thing was way high. I had to file this thing forever, and it's still not down as low as it needs to go. The action was all wonky. These are all out of tune, or out of sync. Intonation was off. The pickups aren't even exactly straight, and the bridge doesn't line up with the neck completely. Yeah, so I had to loosen the bridge, loosen the neck, and try and get as much adjustment out of them as I could to get them to line up okay, because every time you would hit your E string, it would like push it off the fretboard like this. And you still, if you try and, it still wants to do it sometimes. Anyway, this is the Glary, and I have one. They are junk. I don't suggest them unless you want to spend a ton of time setting them up, then I guess it's a usable cheap guitar. On to the next. Okay, this is a fun one. This is the only Fender that I have, and it is a Fender. It's not a Squire. Yep, it says right there, Fender Stratocaster. Now, this might look like the cheap Rock Band guitars that you used to get, and it is not one of those. Obviously, it is a Rock Band guitar, but this was sold separately, I believe, when Rock Band 3 came out, and this peripheral was a $300 game controller. And as a point of reference, I'm pretty sure that this controller cost more than the 360 or the PS3 that you would have been playing that game on at the time. It is actually really nice. It does have really nice tuners. I would like to take these off and put them onto a real guitar, but this isn't actually my guitar. It's a family member's, and I'm kind of just safe keeping it. But it is in my possession, so I figured I'd show it off. It is super cool. It's a wood body, wood neck, and it looks really nice. Even the headstock is nicely lacquered and everything. It's got some weight to it. Still has a pickup jack, which I think is funny, and it even still has the saddles. But I mean, look at this neck. I think there was actually, I think I heard rumors that at the time, guitar players were upset because this guitar was, they were using some nicer components in this Rock Band guitar than in the actual Fenders of the time. I think it might be a one-piece body, which is wild. It's probably not. Anyway, so yeah, that's the end of this video. I just wanted to, again, show you some of my guitars, and I would like to get into more videos about guitar modding and guitar setups. I don't know. But yeah, thanks for watching. If there's more specifics that you would like to know about any of these guitars or more things that I might be able to shine some light on, let me know. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next one.